Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the third of our Thursday coffee chats, and great to welcome you back here today. I'm coming to you from actually my office today, which is a spare bedroom for me. I have my friend with me that follows me around everywhere I go, my dog, and so great to be able to welcome you again this Thursday lunchtime. Those of you that are joining us and having the opportunity to talk a little bit about what it is to be parenting in isolation. And I don't know too much about that. I'm a little bit older, and I only have one of my kids living with me who is 20, so that's really not too big a deal for us. So we're going to be talking today about what are some of those challenges that we might have as we are parenting in this environment. What I'd really want to encourage you to do, if you would like to, is write down any questions on the Facebook page down the bottom in the comments, and we can seek to answer those questions as they come in. You're very welcome to do that at any time. But I have two guests. They're really not guests. They are people that you might be familiar with if you're part of the Windsor Park community. We have Patsy Way, who is our pastor of kids ministries here at Windsor Park, and also, as I have described her on some of our wording, super mum Margaret Coyle. So I'm just going to get them to introduce themselves to you and just say a little bit about them. We'll start with Patsy. Patsy, welcome to our coffee chat. Can you tell us a little bit about what your role involves at Windsor and maybe kind of the scope? I guess how many families or kids are we kind of involved with in the context of our community?
Yeah. I have the best job in the world, I think, looking after our Windsor Kids families. Basically, Windsor Kids looks after families from when a child is born to when they go off to intermediate school. We've got about 300 kids that we take care of, and that's probably about 180 families, I'd say. So we do everything from Sunday morning services, care for families, especially at the moment, families who are calling in and just wanting some extra advice or someone to listen to them cry or just talk about what's going on for them. Outside of isolation, we also do things like help with mainly music, with soccer club, with a whole lot of community-based children's work as well.
Fantastic. So we have a wide scope, and the little line that we often use at Windsor is that we are partnering with parents. We don't see the church as being the primary vehicle for discipling kids. We are partnering with parents and seeking to support parents and grandparents and the wider family. We live by that adage that it takes a village to raise a child, so we're part of that. So we really appreciate the role that you do. Dylan's part of your team, Emily as well as a whole host of volunteers in a range of different ways. So we have a wonderful commitment and a wonderful group of people that support our kids' ministry. I'll hand over to Margaret. Margaret Coyle, a lot of people might know you, but tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about your family, what your ages and stages of kids, and what are they doing right now when you're sitting downstairs?
Great question. Right now, I don't know what they're doing. We'll get to that soon. So in my family, there's myself and my husband, Matt, and we have 4 children. So while Patsy's looking after 300, I feel lucky that I've only got 4 to look after. So my children, we've got a son who's 13. He's year 9 at Westlake Boys High School. We've got a daughter who is 11, and she's a year 7 at White Owl Intermediate. And then we've got 2 more daughters. Indy is year 4, so she's an 8-year-old, and Mila's a 6-year-old, and she's in year 2, and they're both at Sunnyside Primary School. So my husband and I, we work with Student Life, which is a Christian group that works with university students around New Zealand, and we're both still working, although I'm working quite part-time at the moment, so that makes it more manageable. And we live in Sunnyside, which is really close to Windsor Park Baptist Church, all the physical buildings. Right now, I think my children, 2 of them are gone out for a walk with Matt, the 2 younger ones, and then the 2 older ones are doing their school. They've got quite an independent setup where they don't need much direction from us. They just go to their classes and the teacher meets them online and they do their thing from for most of the day. So that's what they're all doing right now. They're probably actually starting to get
hungry. Probably. Margaret, we're going to cut straight to the chase. You are parenting 4 kids in lockdown, at young through to year 9. Must be a full on for you. Tell us, how has that been for the last 3 weeks with the full house, holidays, and now back at school? Give us the lowdown on real life parenting.
Yeah. First of all, I'm really glad that school is back in, even though it requires more from me in terms of work, I guess. It's just really good to have a focus for the kids because the holidays did feel long. I recently started a blog, and I've been kind of blogging every day, and I look back and I read from day 1 to day 21, and it's just it's up and down. It's all over the show. It's an emotional roller coaster. Here's Miss 8, little Indy, come to say hello.
Hey, Indy.
They're all here.
Oh, Lily Joy too.
There we go. Here's the 3 girls who come to say hello. And there's Ezra in the background. Hello.
Hey.
There we go. So that's what they're all doing now. They're all crowding into the office. Thanks for coming to say hi, guys. Bye. I've lost my train of thought. Oh yes, I'm on emotion. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster. Like, there are definitely some bad days, and then there are also good days. I think that is the reality for a lot of us, and I think that as soon as we kind of accept that we're going to have our bad days and our good days, things will go easier. So rather than trying to avoid all the bad days, just embrace them and be like, it's a bad day today. The kids are grumpy, mum's grumpy, we're all just kind of grumpy, and let's just roll with it. Tomorrow's another day. And sometimes, especially during the holidays, it just kind of felt a bit boring as well, because not being able to just go and do stuff and see your friends, and the kids really miss their friends. I mean, they see them online, but it's not quite the same. So so I guess that's what it's like for us. It's a little bit boring and a little bit up and down.
So you've I've been reading some of your blogs. We know you see a little bit of your online stuff. Well, what would you say to parents that are maybe finding it just a little bit tough right now? They're kind of back at school. It's a whole new rhythm again. There are challenges. This is a false environment for us. Maybe parents are finding it a bit tough. They have kids that, maybe behaviours are playing up because of this sort of situation. As a mum speaking to other families, what would you say to them?
I think that what I'm learning is just to be kind to myself. So be kind to yourself. And I know Cinda Ardern's all about being kind. So take that and apply it to ourselves as well. I think that doing what you enjoy as a parent, as a mum, is way more sustainable than trying to do all these great ideas that are out there, because there are so many good ideas out there. So just pick up the ones that you actually want to do, rather than trying to do everything, because that's just overwhelming. So for me, what that looks like is I've taught all of my children how to play the game Settlers of Catan. And so, when they need a little bit of something else, if they're starting to get a bit scratchy with each other, I'll just say, hey, who wants to come and have a game of Settlers with me? And we'll sit down, and it kind of resets the environment, and I'm actually enjoying it because I quite like playing board games, not like kid board games, but, board games that I enjoy. So I think that doing what you enjoy makes it a lot more sustainable over the long term, rather than, not.
Margaret, you've found support as much as you can in this kind of environment, neighbourhood. I know you kind of went through that early on, and you've set up a bit of a WhatsApp group. Tell us a little bit about that, and good that been for, I guess, you and Matt in this kind of environment.
Yeah. So when this lockdown first started, or just, in the days before when we all knew we were going into lockdown, I saw on Facebook an idea from a friend that she had put a letter in all her neighbours' letterboxes, inviting them to be part of a community WhatsApp group. And I love being part of a local community. I thought this is an awesome idea. So I did the same thing. The girls and I made the letter, and we went and printed it off really quickly before the office closed, and then went and delivered it into the 96 houses in our street and the 2 streets that come off it. And the response was awesome. I think we have about 40 different people on our group now, and some people are just kind of probably just observing and watching what's going on, but a lot of them are really interacting a lot, and we're talking, we're sharing resources as needed. We're telling people, I just went to the supermarket, the line was really short, go now. Just really practical things like that. And we're also just offering sometimes just a light-hearted joke or something just to keep our spirits up. And it's been really cool. Like, I don't actually know a lot of those 40 people. I know some of them, but it's been cool just standing on my balcony and waving to people as they go past and saying, "Oh, are you from number such and such? Is your name so and so?" And actually getting to know my neighbours a little better in that way. Yeah, so that's been great for me, because I'm a people person, and I think that's what I miss the most, is just those interactions with people, not just my friends and family, but just people in general. So it's been good to have that community.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hard things for a lot of people. I'm in that boat, as you know, as an extrovert, and kind of having that people interaction all day that I normally have has been a real challenge. And digital stuff can't really replace that. It can go some way, but it's nothing like real people. Patsy, I'll head back over to you. And you are seeking to resource parents. A big part of what we're seeking to do at Windsor Park in this lockdown period has been to really ramp up the way that we support parents, resource parents, help them with a bunch of different ways from, I guess, the church perspective. Just a little bit about the ways in which, we've been seeking to do that, and what you and Dylan and Emily have been putting out to people.
Oh, it's been a real challenge for us, actually, because neither Dylan, Emily, or I are very great at social media. But yeah, we're learning very fast and starting to really enjoy it. So yeah, basically we record our teachers every week, and we've learned how to record on Zoom, and our skills have just been growing hugely. But yes, so every week we record a teach on Zoom, and the amazing Tim Pavis then edits it for us. And we give that out on Facebook along with notes, teaching notes for parents, crafts for kids. We've been trying really hard to tailor it to people who can print the stuff off, as well as those who don't have the ability to print. We've also introduced challenges on Facebook. We've put questions for families to ask each other. We've put treasure hunts, scavenger hunts. Basically we're trying really hard to provide a safe space. We sent out an email to all our parents a couple of weeks ago to say, hey, our Facebook page is not going to have words like isolation and stuck and COVID and all of those kind of things. We really want it to be a safe space where parents can go for ideas of activities, of stuff they can do with their kids within our Kiwi and specifically North Shore area. We're trying to give stuff that is directive for the kids, but also the ability for families to do it together, because we're constantly hearing from parents how overwhelmed they are. Like Margaret said earlier, there's just so many ideas, and so many debates, and so many kind of perfect super parents out there that we couldn't possibly follow. That's been our main thing, is to cater to a wide range of situations of households, and just making sure that we can really be the church in action at the moment. Even though we can't see our kids physically, we've been doing Zoom chats with families, we've been texting, we've been calling. We've tried to keep in contact as best as we can without putting pressure on families to respond, to connect, because the last thing we want to be is an extra thing that they have to tick off their list every day. We really want to just be an encouragement to them.
Super good, Patsy. I've been watching, I guess, from a distance, the things that you guys have been doing, and there's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes. And as you mentioned, you're in contact with, a whole range of our different families, across the shore in different places. Tell us, what are some of the challenges that you might be hearing from different parents? What are some of the needs that are coming up? And maybe one or two tips that they could adopt if they're listening to this today.
The overwhelming thing has been mums especially feeling that they just cannot compare to the other parents out there, that they are overwhelmed by the amount of ideas and overwhelmed by parents who are seemingly able to juggle everything perfectly. So the biggest challenge for me has been to say to them, just a reminder that the snaps that we see on Facebook, on Instagram, are just that. They're just photos in between the massive chaos that's going on in every household. You know, you can look at any photo album and think someone's got a perfect life. But yeah, just reminding parents that what wasn't true a month ago is not true now. You know, those people didn't have it all together then, they don't have it all together now, and you don't have to either. So my biggest advice has been to parents to unfollow groups that used to inspire you, unfollow things on Facebook that now overwhelm you, that now make you feel like a terrible parent, because you're really not. And yeah, you know your kids, you know your capabilities. I love what Margaret said about getting her kids to do stuff that she likes. So yeah, that's what we've been saying. If you need time alone in your kitchen to cook, don't feel like you have to take your kids in there and use this opportunity to teach them to cook. You know, a month or two of more device time might save your sanity. It's not going to destroy your kids. You know, having different rules at the moment is okay. Give kids more device time, more alone time, so that you can fill up as a parent is far more important. Yeah, just be kind to yourself is the advice I'd be given. Be giving out to parents. If you can't homeschool your kids, a month or two of no school is not going to, in the big picture, hugely affect them. But coming out of this, as a family who has laughed and played and spent time together, is going to be far more beneficial to your kids than coming out stressed, knowing maybe a little bit more schoolwork than they did before. Mental health above anything else is what I keep saying to the parents. If you're strong, your kids have a much better chance of being strong. So take care of yourself, be kind to yourself. Connection over content is what we keep saying.
Yeah, that's good advice. In fact, you touch on there as advice I've had to take into my life, and even in circles that I mix with pastors, there is just so much information coming at us right now. You know, how to lead better, how to lead in crisis, you know, what the future is going to be like, and just to be kind to ourselves. I've said to a lot of my peers, just unsubscribe from that stuff. Just don't follow it. Right now, it's all new territory for us, and let's take it a day at a time. And, you know, let's not try and think that we can be all things to all people. So that kind of advice, just because we're such an online generation right now, you know, we've got to learn some stuff about how we handle that. And I think that's just so valuable for parents, not to